So I have been on Mounjaro for 100 weeks now, which is wild to think about in what 100 weeks it has been. As I've mentioned before, I'm somebody who's grown up fat. I've always been fat, fat child, fat adult. And although I've spent the vast majority of my life on a diet or a weight loss journey, throughout the years, I'd lose weight, gain more weight, and the cycle would just repeat itself. I've tried every diet going, cabbage soup, that was minging, and it stank. I think the smell was worse than the taste, but it didn't work. It didn't work because unsurprisingly, you can't just live off cabbage soup. It was rotten as well. It was foul, man. It was foul. So cabbage soup, Special K, started that when I was about 10, 11. Weight Watchers. I'm trying to think, there's some really rogue ones, just everything, essentially. And although at times I was successful in losing a bit of weight, varying amounts, I'd put it all back on and more. So throughout the years, the sort of scale was always upwards trending. There's two notable periods of my life where I did lose a good chunk of weight, but I think one was 2017, sort of summer of 2017, going into early 2018, and then the other one was at the start of 2019. But as you can see from my little Fitbit record, you know, the weight I was in, May 2018, less than 6 months later, I'd put over a stone back on. So it wasn't working. Something wasn't working. Something wasn't right. Something was afoot. Having grown up fat, until I started Mounjaro, I had never got the chance to experience what it was like to be thin. And growing up fat is a unique experience in itself. So if you haven't grown up fat, or, you know, if you put weight on later in life, you'll understand the struggles of being obese. But growing up fat is another thing entirely. It's a club you don't want to be a part of. It's rotten. There has never been a time throughout my life, especially growing up child, teenager, that I haven't been constantly aware of my weight, of how fat I am, of the space I take up, the fact that I don't fit society's beauty standards, the fact that if someone is going to have a disagreement with me, if someone doesn't like me being fat is the first thing they'll go to. It's the first insult that's thrown at you. I've said before, literally strangers have shouted, what was it? Porky was one, and someone nearly ran me over and then shouted abuse at me because I was fat out of their car window. It's like, mate, I would literally have smashed through your windshield and that would have been you. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe watch where you're going. No pun intended, but the weight of being fat or the weight of growing up fat is something you cannot truly understand unless you've experienced it yourself. Because like I said, I grew up really insecure, no self-esteem, no confidence, couldn't wear any clothes that I liked because nothing would fit me. And even if they did, I wouldn't feel comfortable because I'd constantly be aware that people were going to mock me, people were going to make fun of me. You know, it is always sort of like the low-hanging fruit, isn't it? It's like, it's always something you can go for. It don't matter about person's like character, personality, oh, but they're fat. And then that's always going to get a giggle. Always going to get a little giggle, isn't it? So after spending basically literally my entire life trying and failing to lose weight and sustain that weight loss, I think around 2021, basically things had been going downhill for a while. Things were never really steady. Things were never really even. But around 2021, I think my mental health started to get a lot worse. And things, like, you think you've reached rock bottom, you haven't, truly. Like, you don't know what rock bottom is until you go below it. Like, it's really difficult to explain. But anyway, so 2021, mental health started going downhill. I was just putting more and more weight on. I was stressed. There was a lot going on. And I think that around 2021, 2022, for the first time in my life, I wasn't constantly on a diet. I think I'd basically kind of given up. 2021, I was still trying, but 2022, I think is when I graduated. And then, yeah, 2022 is when I graduated and then became a doctor. And again, it's something that if you've not lived the experience, you won't, it's really difficult to explain. But the first 2 years of being a doctor are awful, like unnaturally difficult. Like, it doesn't need to be that hard, horrendous. But I don't know, if you know, you know. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Because it's really difficult to try and convey to someone truly how horrific it is, and just how, you know, the 72-hour weeks, the 1 day off, like, it's really difficult to explain if you haven't lived it, because the NHS is niche, isn't it? But I'm not going to get into that right now. So 2022, graduated. I was miserable at graduation. I think my mum got the dress for me. I hated it. But the thing is, I didn't think that I looked good in anything. So I'd have hated anything. So basically, I was suddenly working all the time, really, really stressed, not getting a lot of sleep. And I basically had just given up. I was no longer constantly on a diet. I was literally just getting takeaways, going to bed, going to work, coming home, crying, getting another takeaway that's enough for like 2 people. And 2022, I think onwards, things really went downhill. My mental health really suffered, and, you know, it's multifactorial, but kind of linked to that, my weight increased as well. And I just didn't have the motivation. I didn't have the energy to even care anymore. I'd sort of accepted my fate, if you will, and thought, oh, this is me. And I don't think I'd ever felt so worthless. Like I said, things weren't going well for a while, a good while, a long time, a very long time. I managed to find some pictures from, I think, September 2023 onwards, because obviously I look back and there's huge gaps, there's months missing where I just don't seem to have any pictures of myself. And obviously that, you know, you can probably attribute that to the fact that I hated myself, couldn't stand the sight of me. And I was busy. But anyway, so I do have some pictures. So September 2023 onwards, up until January 2024, when I got a personal trainer, just kept getting bigger. I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's not much more to say about that. January 2024, hired a personal trainer. I was doing all these like meal plans, and I hate cooking. I can't stand it. But I was proper trying. Because fat people need to try. People love to see a fat person try. You got to suffer. I was suffering. And I was yo-yoing. I was losing some weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. And so I was going to the gym, but not as often as I'd like. And the food noise was insufferable. And so I think in January 2024, that was my highest recorded weight, which was 13 stone 6. I'll put what it is in pounds and kilograms on the screen. And I believe that gave me a BMI of 38, because I'm 4'11". I'm not big that way. Anyway, like, I'm not tall, essentially. That gave me a BMI of 38. Got the personal trainer, and I think, I'll double check, I think I got down from 13 stone 6 to about 12 stone something, 12 stone 8 maybe. But then I just kept putting it on, losing it, putting it on, losing it. And so now we're in April 2024, which is when I started Mounjaro. And my weight at that time, my Mounjaro starting weight in April 2024 was 13 stone. And honestly, looking back at this video, it does kind of make me emotional. I haven't quite cried yet, but have a look. Now it's day 1. I'm just about to give myself the Mounjaro injection. I'm a bit scared. Hello, so I've decided to try Mounjaro because of this. Now, I've been every weight going. To be honest, I kind of felt like everyone was staring at me, even though they obviously weren't. But I think I was a bit embarrassed. But at the same time, do you know what I mean? Like, do what works for you. So yeah, so it's day 1. I am a bit nervous. I'm worried about side effects. I've documented my journey on YouTube since day 1, my entire Mounjaro journey. And looking back, I can see how nervous and terrified I was, and how brave I was. I'm not counting my chickens or anything, but I'm still happy with that, and I am still pleased. Like, you know, it's a good little boost, isn't it? When you're... So obviously I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is amazing. I don't want to speak to you soon, but I am pleased. Because I didn't for a second think it would ever work. I don't know what I was thinking when I put myself out there and put my belly out there on the internet. But I am honestly so grateful to her, because people forget that is still me. I am still that person. We are one. Like, she is strong, I am strong, but she did it. She got me here. So I'm, you know, I know it's difficult, because when you lose weight, people tend to compliment you more, or they start slagging off your old appearance. And you're like, well, you could have just said that to my face back then. And a lot of people do. But I am still her. My personality, like, she is me. All that's changed is the weight. And so I think people do need to be careful when they're slagging, like, oh yeah, like, you looked awful like that. Like, all right, love. Like, but one thing I've always said throughout my journey on YouTube is that aside from the weight loss, the best thing Mounjaro has given me is confidence. You'll see from some of my gym clips. Do you know when you get to the gym and then you just realise that you can't be arsed? Because that's me right now, but I'm going to give it a bash. I was terrified, but I showed up. I showed up regularly. I tried new machines. I tried new classes. I didn't just walk on the treadmill for half an hour and then go home. I really showed up for myself, and I am super proud of that. I am really, really proud of myself for that. Obviously, Mounjaro is controversial. In my opinion, it's a medication. A medication doesn't work unless you take it. But a lot of the haters, they do really want to take away my achievements, and they really do want to try and bring you down and be like, oh, well, you cheated or whatever. It's bizarre. Well, it's not bizarre. Like, that's human nature. If you're not doing so well yourself, if you've got bitterness inside you, obviously you want to tear other people down. I get it. I do get it from that perspective. But yeah, people try and diminish my achievements. I've lost 80 pounds, which is what, nearly 6 stone. And yes, I have put some more weight back on. I am struggling in maintenance, but I've got another video coming on that soon. But my phone storage is going, so I'm trying to be quick here. But people do try and tear you down and take away from my accomplishments. It's mad. It is mad. It's like you can say a lot of things about me, and most of them are true. But I don't know, the whole like lazy, blah, blah. I'm just like, just pack it in. Just behave. But anyway, that's their business. That's nothing to do with me. So yeah, 100 weeks on Mounjaro, 80 pounds, nearly 6 stone down. I'm currently in maintenance on 12.5 milligrams. I am struggling. I have put more weight on, but I'll update you about that in my next video. And I have just moved house, so there's a lot going on. But I hope everyone has an amazing week, and I will see you soon.